Oh, I forgot to edit this. Dadgummit. Today's the 1st, y'all. February 1st. January is finally over. I thought it'd never end. Do y'all remember back when we learned about special segments and triangles? Do y'all remember that? We talked about angle bisectors and medians and altitudes and perpendicular bisectors. Remember all those special things? Well, though all those special parts, well, not all of them, most of them, divide the triangle up into proportional segments, or they are proportional themselves with the sides of the triangle. Okay, let me explain what I mean. So if we look at, let's just jump right to the skills practice and look at number 1 right there. So we've got 2 triangles, right? And on these 2 triangles, notice that we have this. Yep. You'll see it. And see how this is 7 and 7, and this is 5.25 and 5.25. So we know it's a median because it goes in the middle, right? It's technically a perpendicular bisector, but I wish they hadn't used that one because that one doesn't always work. But anyway, we can set up a ratio of the sides of this side and this side. And then we can set up a ratio of that bisector. So we can set it up as 7 over 5.25. We're putting big triangle to little triangle. So I put big on top, I put little on bottom, right? And then we'll put the bisector big on top because we're still putting big on top, right? And then we'll put little on bottom. We don't know little. Y'all with me? So then we're just down to cross multiplying to solve. So we're just going to cross multiply these and we'll have 7x equals 2 times 5.25 is. Somebody want to calculate that for us? Elizabeth, you still feeling better? 115.5. And then we'll divide that by 7, right? 16.5. Okay, so on these questions today, you may have decimals. If you do, round to the nearest tenth, okay? On your decimals, round to the nearest tenth. So that x value right there is 16.5. That's it. So we're doing the exact same math we've been doing. All the math is the same. We're still setting up proportions. We're still solving proportions. The only difference is instead of just doing the sides, now we're doing these special segments of them. Because the special segments are also proportional. Does that make sense? Okay, so we look at number 2. So we've got these 2 triangles, right? So notice it tells us these 2 are congruent. So we know that's a median. That's what that is. Because it's in the center of the side and it goes to the other angle. So it's a median. And these 2 are congruent, so we know that's a median, right? So what we know is that we can set up a ratio of these 2 sides to a ratio of these 2 medians and solve it to find that missing median value. So if we set up a ratio to the sides, do you want to put 15 on top or 10 on top? 10. So let's put 10 on top this time. So 10 on top, 15 on bottom. Since we put 10 on top, what has to go on top over here? X. What goes on bottom? 33. So then we're just going to cross multiply to solve again. So we'll have 15 times x and 10 times 33. What's that, 330? All right. And then we'll divide both sides by 15. Is Dandy right on 22? I don't know. Y'all know I'm no good at mental math. I'm not a math genius. It is. Good job, Andy. Okay, so that's our answer. And we're done with it. That's it. All right, so look at number 3. So on number 3, we've got this angle bisector, right? So with this angle bisector, we can set up a ratio of these two sides to a ratio of these two bisectors. So what's that going to look like? Say what now? 10 over 20 equals x over 22. And then we just solve it. So we would do 20 times x is 20x. 10 times 22 is 220. Divide by 20. It's going to be 11. And that's our answer. Y'all see how simple this is? Okay. Part of this we don't even need a calculator for. We can do it in our heads. And I do want to come back to this up here. Y'all know we could have simplified this 10 and 15. We could have. But it's really not necessary. All right, let's look at 4. So we've got this is congruent to this, so that tells us that's a median. This is congruent to this, so that tells us that's a median, right? So since they're both medians, we know they're going to be proportional. And then we have these sides. Notice how this angle has, I'm going to zoom way in. Notice how this angle has 2 lines and this angle over here has 2 lines. Y'all notice that? That means that that side 12.6 and this side 18 are corresponding to each other because they're attached to the same sized angle. Okay? Okay, so how are we going to set this up? Y'all tell me. I guess I zoom back out. Uh-huh. Corresponding meaning they're the two parts, they're the parts of the two triangles that like match up with each other. Like if we took this triangle, this little triangle right here, and we rotated it around and we set them so that we could tell which ones looked the same but different sizes, that side would match up with this side. Does that make sense? Okay, so how are we going to set this one up? X over 12, okay, equals what? 18 on the top. Because we use the x, we're going to have to use the 18, right? So 18 over 12.6. As long as you keep it consistent, you'll get it right, okay? Okay, so then we're going to do our little cross multiplying. So 12.6x equals, I don't know, 8. All right, Andy. Huh? Andy says it's 216. Is he right? Gosh, he blows me away. All right. Then we're going to divide by 12.6. Andy, can you do that one? Probably not. Try it. No, okay, it's okay. I mean, that's hard. That's some hard stuff. Okay, what is that? That's our answer. 17.1. How y'all feel about those? Same stuff we've been doing, right? Same stuff, just slightly different. Just a little bit different. It's almost like they took this chapter and they were like, you know, we're going to baby step them through this. We'll just go on just teeny tiny little bit every day. Okay? Now, if we look at number 5, so on number 5, it tells us that triangle RST is similar to triangle EFG. That means that R is going to match up with E, right? S is going to match up with F, and T is going to match up with G. Everybody with me so far? And they say SH is an altitude. So remember, altitude goes from the highest point straight down to the bottom, right? It's an altitude of RST, and then they say that FJ is an altitude of EFG, right? So they tell us ST is 6. They tell us SH is 5. They tell us FJ is 7, and they want us to find this. Y'all, we're doing the exact same thing we just did. They just didn't label the diagram for us. We're still doing the same math. We just had to label the diagram. So when we set it up, how do y'all want to set this one up? X over 6 equals 7 over 5. And then we're going to just cross multiply. So we're going to have 5x equals 42. And then what? Divide by 5. 8 point what, buddy? Is he right? Gosh. So smart. Okay, look at 6. Triangle ABC is similar to triangle MNP, right? AD is an altitude. Notice this altitude is outside the triangle. For them to go straight down, they had to be outside the triangle, right? MQ is an altitude of MNP. So MQ is an altitude of the other one. AB is 24. So we're going to label it. AD, this altitude is 14. MQ is 10.5. MN, we don't know. All right. How do y'all want to set this one up? Nobody? Okay. Beautiful. Is there a wrong answer here? Not as long as you match things up, right? If you put big on top, little on bottom, or vice versa, there's not a wrong answer. Donovan could have put 14 on top, 10.5 on bottom, as long as he matched it up on the other side. Okay, so let's cross multiply. So we're going to have 14x equals is it 262? 252. Dang, I was so close. So close. And then divide by 14. So what's x? What is it? 18? I'm just going to trust you. Okay, now on this bottom part down here, these are angle bisectors. This is a little bit different because we don't have two triangles. We have one triangle that has an angle bisector. One triangle. Now here's the cool thing about angle bisectors. Angle bisectors do not divide the opposite side into equal parts. They divide the opposite side into parts that are proportional with the two sides, the other two sides of the triangle. So we can actually set this up as a ratio where we have m over 26 is equal to, And then we're going to use the side of the other. Let me see if I can say this without it sounding stupid. The side that's being split up, we're going to use the piece of that is closest to this side on the top. So we're going to put 8 on top. And then we'll put the piece of that segment that's being split up that's closest to 26 on the bottom, so that they're matching up. Does that make sense? Y'all see what I'm saying? So, say what?
Is that 1 or, I mean, is that 12 or 1 times 2?
It's 12. I just accidentally got a dot in the middle there. That's a 12. It's this 12 right here, Jackson. Okay, so we're going to multiply these. So we're going to have 12m equals 26 times 8. 208. And then we're going to divide that by 12. So what does that give us for m? So this side over here is 17. So still using a proportion, we're just not comparing 2 triangles. We're just looking at 1 triangle. Right? Okay, look at the second one. Same deal. We know it's an angle bisector because we have these 2 little segments showing that the angles are congruent right there, right? Well, that means that this angle bisector has split this side of the triangle into parts that are proportional with these 2 sides of the triangle. So we're going to set it up where these are 1 ratio and these are the other ratio. If you put the full length side on top on one side, you put the full length side on top on the other side, right? So if we're going to put 20 on top over here, then on this side we have to put 24 on top. So what goes on bottom on the side with 20? 7. What goes on bottom on the side with 24? X. And then we just cross multiply. So we'll have 20 times x is 20x. 24 times 7. Good job. Divide by 20. What's x going to be? 8.4. And that's our answer. Now, you know you can always check to see if this makes sense, right? So we know if we look at 20 and 24, 24 is the bigger side, right? So we look at 7 and this x, this one should be the bigger side, right? Is it? Yeah, it is. Okay, so your assignment is going to be 1 through 7 on the back. There's already an interactive worksheet on Google Classroom. You only need to put your numerical answer in there. And you're going to get some decimals. What are you rounding to? Nearest tenth. That means decimal and then a number, right? Round to the nearest tenth. Okay, everybody good? All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.